Hello and welcome back. It's been a while since I did a video on Calvin's Gallery. I've been working hard on this next update. There's been a lot of kind of challenges involved with it between long work hours, trying to keep up with friends, and I had some crashing issues that I believe have been resolved. So, in the process of trying to fix those crashing issues, one of the things that I was testing was I thought it was this map, the decrepit pyramid, that was causing the crashes. Turns out it wasn't. It was a driver issue that just happened to occur the same time I started working on that map. Um, and there were so many different events and things going on that map just was triggering that crash the most often. Hence why I thought the map was the issue. So in the hunt to fix this issue, I deleted that map to make a new one. And the map had a soft lock involved with it. It needed to be reworked anyways. So after a couple months of work, this is going to be the final result. So the decrepit pyramid is where you get the Book of Life, which is one of the major steps in order to unlock the dragon character. And it's sort of got a little bit of a puzzle in it. It's pretty straightforward, but I tried to make it kind of interesting, a mix of maze and puzzle with some combat, trying to make it stand out a little bit from the other pyramids. And I'll probably continue to modify it going forward, but right now this is a very solid starting point. This dungeon heavily utilizes a keystone mechanic, which is something that I'm going to be kind of wanting to expand on later in the game. And so the keystone is pretty straightforward. These statues are going to move or are going to not move, and you'll have to use keystones to get them to move into the positions that you want. The stone is a key. Pretty straightforward. How you're going to get these keystones, how many you get at a time, things like that, are going to vary. So later dungeons that use this mechanic are going to be much more complex. They'll probably involve swapping keystones out between the statues, closing up your exit in order to progress deeper, things like that. Whereas this one is pretty straightforward. I think as it is, it'll be a good introduction to show, like, hey, this is a mechanic that's present, this is how you use them. And it should help kind of get players familiar with how that works. So the way this dungeon is going to work is you'll be outside, you'll come to the decrepit pyramid, and once you have it unlocked and opened, you go in. Enters this room. This room has two paths. This path is locked through the keystones, and there will be a treasure here. As you can see, there's a chest here, and then there's the stairs. So you'll complete this fight, and then you'll be able to either unlock this one or progress deeper. This statue will move. This statue will move, opening up the path to this section of the dungeon. Moving to that section, first is the air area. This is a series of up-down paths, with the goal being to reach the fight here. All of these other fights do give rewards. They're a little easier of fights, and they'll unlock portals to send you back to the beginning of the room. So this is kind of a maze, and the idea is that it's a little bit hard to predict because a lot of the times you won't be able to see the other platforms. Some of these also go to platforms you would not expect. And so it'll be interesting to see as people explore, trying to figure out the optimal path to get to the fight. And I'll show you. I'll wander around a little bit, then I'll show you the direct path. So this will work as both a demonstration and a tutorial. So the second zone is going to be water. And this works on a classic mechanic of sliding in lines. So the idea is you take a step off a platform and you will slide to the next platform. And your path will either end on another platform or on the edge here in this pit. Falling into the pit sends you back to the beginning. Your goal is to get to these two fights. You will need a keystone to leave the room. So one fight will give you a keystone to exit, and the other fight will give you an extra keystone. Having that extra keystone is how you're going to start accessing these other rooms. Then the last one, so air, water, and then earth will be over here. This one is a more traditional maze. As you can see, it's broken up. There's rocks in your way. There's rocks that'll move. And in the end, you've got two fights on opposite sides of the room. So this is a much simpler dungeon. It involves a little bit more wandering around and exploring. I'll probably expand on the maze aspect a little bit. But for the most part, this is going to be pretty straightforward. It's mostly going to be dodging those different rocks and things. And while I'm here, I did need to actually fix just a couple things. There we go. Yeah, so I'll probably maybe end up doing something with this area. I think I might narrow these passages to add a couple other side areas, maybe thin this wall. There's a lot that I can do and work with, so I'll probably try to improve this down the road as I get ideas. Okay, enough talking. If RPG Maker will behave, let's try this out. So that's just a little debug chest of random equipment. What did I end up with? Neat. So the Celestial weapons are going to be top tier endgame weapons. There's going to be a sort of crafting side quest in order to get those. Let's see. I want large variety of small benefits. Lava, Ember Spell, Burning Status, Ember Spell. Wow, that magic defense. Wow. Cupid might get jealous. Let's go straight for the attack boost with you. Reduces, yeah, I don't want the broken blade. Rage. Increase damage. Yeah, let's do more damage. Golden ring. Celestial, glacial. I want Scorching Wand after this fight. Yeah, I want glacial for now. Cube, health, necklace, chimeric potion. Okay. Lightning wand. Yeah. Increases magic damage, crit, Magic regen. Another chimeric potion. Good. And then we're back to Kelvin. Okay. And heal up first. Cool, everyone's topped up already. Okay, so just to demonstrate, when you walk in, you'll step on this square, and you get closed into the room. Oh. I already have the Book of Life. So I already have the Book of Life. That works as a universal key to get out. So even if you spend all your keystones to get out, I'm just going to burn one real quick. And I believe I am moderately overleveled for this area. I'm just going to demonstrate. So these weaken attack and weaken defenses, that comes from the relic. Which those that I've shown in the past, similar to the chimeric potion that Joan and Lewis have. As you can see, I've made those no longer cost TP. You know, there was an intention for that when they were first added, but after testing it out, it really felt like that 1 TP cost just kind of nickel and dimed you, and it was really just not enjoyable. You know, let's do Essence of Water. And then another grenade. So you get a keystone, and you move to the next area. And then there's only one path open, so you head through there. Now we're in the air area. So I'm just going to wander around a bit to kind of show you how this works. Purples go up, greens go down. Level 1. Oh, this poor wind spirit has no idea what he's getting into. So it drops an air shard and a portal back to the top. So you can wander around through here. Each one goes kind of somewhere different. should have given more variety of items. Portal back. And now there's another area. And so I've got to go to items. I have 2 keystones. And so that is enough to get through here and to the exit if I wanted to leave right now. So the minimum number of fights here is 2. Fire guy, air guy. Then you can leave. But if you want to try and get to those stairs, you're going to need a lot more. Okay, then you don't have a whole lot of options here, so then you just have to kind of explore. See, you'll notice too is you go slower if your next destination is a valid tile. Oh, you got party skill. And then you can just head to the edge to start back over. Now, I have keystone. I can now leave, and I'll still have 2 keystones, which is enough to get out of the dungeon. If you want to do it the right way, you always have the home stone. But if you want to get into that secret area, you got to keep going. Those essences are really nice. And a keystone. And I can just hop in here. Ta-da! Exit. And the last one. Earth. So Earth has a lot of valid ways to get to the end fights. You just kind of got to push these boulders around. You've got rocks to avoid. If you run into a rock, it'll knock you back. A lot of low levels again. So my end goal is to try not to rely on combat too much for progression. Like, obviously, it's a core mechanic. It's very present in the game. But I don't want players to feel like every single action they take is just the next fight. You know, I like the puzzles, I like the exploration, I like the little side areas. I want to add a lot more of the lore drops that you can find, things like that. So I've got a handful of ideas for the last fight, because that's really the last part of the game that I need to wrap up, is that final battle, the brief lead up to it, and the dialogue for that interaction. I've got a good amount of the planning done. It's just getting the mechanics in place and getting those working. So I now have 5 keystones. So if I use 1 to leave this area, that leaves 4. Yeah. So now I have 4. And I need 1 more to open this. And now I have enough to get in here. What? Why did that just do that? I just went through here. Why are you behaving weird? Why are you going in the opposite direction? I just did this before. Alright, I'll see you back here in a few minutes. Alright, and we're back. Alright, so the issue was I had messed with that statue before I came back here. And so it just had a switch flipped. I've put in a reset, so now these should all reset their state when you come back to this map, preventing exactly that from happening. So keystone in slot, now it comes forward. And then normally you'd have keys by the time you got here. And that brings you down into the basement. So this is a very, very early area. This is one of the first kind of secrets that I made. And you can fight these wisps, of course. Like I said, significantly overleveled for this area. Keep in mind, enemies are normally double your level, not half your level. Oh, hey, they dropped a key. Convenient. And then there's fishing. And a cat. Cat acquired. And that is how you get the Book of Life. Now you can leave. It drops you back into here. I have a keystone, so it opens up anyways. If I didn't have a keystone, it would do the... It reacts to the book that you have. Actually, I should be able to do that. Let's see, can I put a keystone? There we go. Let me just try to waste my keystones real quick. Perfect. So, no matter what, once you have the Book of Life, you can always leave this temple. And then you go back to the desert. Pretty straightforward. I think it'll add a little bit of variety. Like I said, I want to expand on at least the earth area. I think the water and the air zones will last quite a while. I've played through these a ton of times, getting them all working and all the pieces correct. So for me, it is very easy to work through them pretty quick. But I think a person that's never played them before, doesn't have any kind of tutorial, has not seen the map at full scale, it'll take time to kind of map out a route. These were heavily inspired by the old Pokemon games. The power plant, Team Rocket bases, the different gyms, all used similar mechanics to these. So I grew up playing with those, and I really want to try and bring more of those style puzzles into this game and into further games. So thank you for joining me today. That was the new Decrepit Pyramid. I hope you enjoyed. Where's Dracula? How do I get my money out of him?
Hello.
Oh. I'm being attacked by bats?
Walk right.
I think I'm walking right. I hit a wall. There we go.